G'day, 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 you gorgeous bunch. Hi, hi, hi. How are we? Hi, hey, hey, hey. It's been a while since I was live. Let's just get some water because I was just about to take a sip and then I was like, oh, here I am, I'm live. Ladies and gents, please let me know that you can hear me okay. Let me know if you're on YouTube or if you're on FaceAche, as I like to call it. I haven't let any of my followers know today on Instagram and things like that I'm going live. So they've probably forgotten that I do these videos on a Monday, but hopefully YouTube and Facebook respectively will let them know. So if you know, or if anybody wants to share this in any of my groups, please do let them know. It's been a blooming busy time, ladies and gents. Rachel Ann, thank you so much for letting me know. Hello, Miss Teresa. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Derek. I hope you are all very, very well. Let me know where around the world you are listening to me from. And hi, babes. I hope you're well. Hey, Eve. I hope you're well, my sweetheart. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. I hope you've remembered that we are getting together on Zoom tomorrow evening. Hi, hi, hi. How is everybody? Let me know what the weather is doing around you. Hi, Lizzie, sweetheart. I hope you're well. Hey, Sophs. Good to have so many of you jumping on. Please, 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 if you're in any of my groups, Self-Love Club with Lucy Davis on Facebook, or if you are on my Telegram group, please do let people know that I'm here because clearly I've done a really rubbish job of it today. I have been back to back, but let me tell you straight, ladies and gents, we have got some seriously exciting things going on. And ladies and gents, how good is my skin? You know, like for someone who's getting older every single day, as we all are, let's be real, my skin is getting better and better and better, and I just love it. You know, the older I get, the more powerful my skin seems to be getting. So I'm absolutely loving that and living the dream right now. So thank you for letting me know that you are in Illinois, Rachel. And can we just take a moment, please, to send massive amounts of love over to the US. 22 years ago, ladies and gents, we had that absolutely horrific atrocity that took place in the form of 9/11. Now, whatever your belief system is on that, I just want to send so much love to that land for today, because there were many innocent people that got caught up in the crossfire of that situation. Whatever your belief systems are, we don't need to go into that right now. What I thought was really quite pertinent is, you know, I'll obviously acknowledge this often, but when I looked today and I was like, how many years is it? Of course it had to be 22, and of course this was extremely, it's the number that everybody knows me to be, hence why my channel is Lucy Davis 2222. My birthday is 22, which is why everybody knows me to be Lucy Davis 2222. So I just want to send so much love from my heart to every single person in the United States of America today. And you know what? I'm even going to send it to the bastards that did this, because those people need love more than anything in their life. And I get, if you're in the US, you might be like, hey, hang on a minute, that's crossing a line. They deserve to be hung, drawn and quartered. Like, I really do get that. But I want to send love, because I hope that one of my little love bombs lands really hard on them and they go, oh my gosh, what have I done? I need to put things right. And I need to, you know, change the way that I have been and the way that I have been in the past. Thank you, Lizzie. You're an absolute babe. I love you to the absolute moon and stars. So like I was saying, ladies and gents, you know, we've hit a milestone with that atrocity that took place. And, you know, there has been there's been many atrocities recently, but in the last couple of days, as you guys know, it was just 2 days ago, there was the earthquake that took place in Morocco. Now, again, this is a subject that's very dear to my heart. I was in Morocco on 11/11, and at 11/11 I was doing some very important energy work in Morocco. And I haven't shared this with absolutely anybody yet, but on 11/11 in 2022 I was doing some work at 11/11, and the earthquake actually hit in Morocco apparently at 11:11. That's what they're saying. So for me, that hit my heart very, very, very hard. So again, I want to send all the love and the well-being and well wishes to Morocco as they go through this challenging period of time. Now, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it here. If you want to know my opinions about these situations, I would really suggest that you join me in Conscious Conversations. If I share my honest opinions on either Facebook or on YouTube, it's chances are that I'm going to get taken down. I'm going to lose my account. And I've already had that happen once on Facebook. So I lost 36,000 followers back in 2020 because of some of the work that I was doing with the children that had been trafficked. And, you know, they took it upon themselves to think that it was a very, very interesting thing to do to just take my account. So, of course, you know, as you guys know, I disappeared off of Facebook for about a year. And then when I came back, I just decided that that platform I was going to use, you know, to create the consciousness shifts. I was going to keep certain topics very close to my heart, because you don't actually know when people are following you if they're your friend or your foe. So I'm very, very just like, you know, I just take a step back and I just do what I need to do. And these platforms, like whatever you say, ladies and gents, you know, they are amazing to get us connected. You know, in the recent weeks, I have had a number of people that I've known from way back when I was like 16, 18, 21, 22 coming back into my life. And so these platforms are very, very important for that. Hey, Lee, hope you're all right, darling. It's really important that we actually recognize that these platforms can be used for the good. It doesn't have to be the bad. I actually did an Instagram reel this morning out on my channel because I am literally so busy right now. Oh, thanks. I'll take that. 50 at 44, can't complain. Thank you. Give my little ego a rub. I like that a lot. Yeah, so I did a post, an Instagram reel on my Instagram channel earlier today, and it was very much, look, social media is exactly that. Social media is a reel whereby people get to see the best bits of your life. It's very rare that people are raw. It's very rare that people use social media like I do to basically like, this is for me to help consciousness shift, you know? So a lot of people out there are probably like, oh, you know, Lucy's sharing a lot of her stuff, but actually I'm extremely private in my personal life. Nobody knows what's going on. I've had one public relationship. I will never do that again, ladies and gents. Let me tell you straight. I learned so much from that, and I will never do it again. It was a great experience and I'm so grateful for all of it. But again, like I say, I will never, ever, ever do that again. You know, you guys will find out as I'm walking down the aisle, let me tell you straight. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, and that isn't directed at you guys, by the way, but trust me, I've been through a number of relationship breakups, and it's much easier to do it behind closed doors than in the public eye, where people are like, so what's going on with you in here? Oh, no, I'm not going to be doing that mistake again. So like I was saying, ladies and gents, we're going through massive shifts at the moment, and these platforms, you know, I'm really grateful to them that it gives the space, the time, the efforts, the energy for us to be able to go out. And like I say, I'm connecting with people from so many years back at the moment. Literally, I was in a pub on Friday. I think it was Friday. I don't even know. I know you guys enjoyed it. And I know you guys are all like, oh, when's the next one, Lucy? And I'm so happy for you. And, you know, I know you guys are so in love with love, like I am. But yeah, I'm keeping it quiet next time around. Anyway, like I was saying, I was sat in a pub on Friday evening, and I actually left the pub. I was with one of my best friends and his best friend, and we had such a laugh. I was literally I haven't laughed that much in ages. It was exactly what I needed, tonic for the soul. And whilst I was in the car being driven home, I got a message from somebody who I hadn't seen since I was about 22. And he was like, Lucy, was that you in this pub today? And I was like, oh my good God, yes, it was. I was like, why didn't you come and speak to me? And these are the conversations that are coming back online. So, you know, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Facebook, because obviously they took my account with 36,000 followers because of some good work that I was doing. But I send it so much love because it helps me connect to people that, you know, were taken away from me back in 2020. So like I say, you know, today we are going to see a lot of triggering stuff. I haven't been on social media yet, and I don't really follow those accounts anymore, but I imagine we're going to see quite a lot of triggering stuff about the 22 years since the 9/11 took place. Let's just be kind to each other, ladies and gents. You know what? There are people out there that lost loved ones 22 years ago, and it's extremely important that we remember that when we're giving our opinions and, you know, saying, oh, it must have been this or it must have been that. How about we just, you know, go inwards and actually just sit with how we would be feeling if that was our mother or our brother or our loved one that was in one of those atrocities. And again, we need to bear this in mind with all the things that are going on around the world. Yes, we have opinions. Yes, you know, I've learned to keep my opinions to myself publicly, but behind closed doors, you know, I am very straight with the way that I feel on things. And I do think that the combinations of people are coming together now to raise the consciousness on this, so people do get the shifts. But that said, I'm here for everyone. I've said this many, many times recently. I'm here for absolutely everybody. And at no point am I going to sit there and be like, I'm not going to talk to you because you've got a difference of opinion. You know, I know I'm babbling really quickly, aren't I? I'm sorry to all the people who English isn't their first language, because I know you go, will you slow down, woman? Please, please, please slow down. Anyway, you know, I just think it's really important right now for us to just take a moment and just breathe and just allow ourselves to recognize that all of this stuff is going on. And it's about going in, it's about going deep, which is why I wanted to speak about healing today, and going within to heal. So there are going to be some triggers in this video today, ladies and gents, because that's what I do generally. So I'm quite used to it. But there are going to be things that get spoken about that perhaps people have their head in the sands. And again, this is what I got put on this planet to do, is to raise the consciousness on these subjects and just to bring it into your mind's eye or your mind or whatever you want to call it, that you can actually do these things. And interestingly, I was so caught up in the moment on Thursday of last week, the 7th of September. I got so caught up in the moment. I was interviewing a man who had literally just healed tongue cancer. Like literally, he just healed tongue cancer. And I was so caught up in his journey that I didn't realize until after we finished the video that it was 5 years to the day that I got rushed into hospital in Surrey. And I had to have a multiple blood transfusion. Literally, I didn't even realize I'd had such a busy day and I was doing my thing and I had no recollection. So the universe booked this video in with me, and it still didn't enter my head, oh yeah, this is the anniversary. He was talking to me about healing cancer, and it still didn't hit me. And it literally wasn't until Facebook, believe it or not, I went on afterwards and I saw the picture and I was like, oh my God, I have had so many slaps from the universe today to say, hey, remember, honor your journey, be grateful for the fact that you've made it another 5 years along. And there I am. I'd completely forgotten it. And this was a pivotal moment in my life. This was a point where I had to decide whether I was going to die or whether I was going to live. I literally had to make a choice in that moment whether I was going to stay. So I thought today it would be a good time for us to just take a little look back at all of our healing and look at areas whereby we really, really do need to turn the camera on ourselves and, you know, really start elevating and start focusing and start, you know, just remembering who it is we are and what we actually have come down here to do. And most importantly, the power that resides within this physical vessel. So let me know in the chat box if you've had anything go on physically with you, whether it's a thing of the past or a thing of current. You know, maybe you've had a thyroid issue or a hormone issue, or like Chris, tongue cancer. Yes, he's very, very sweet and he's very, very excitable and amazing energy. So it was beautiful to have him on. I really, really did enjoy speaking to him. And although it was a very, very long one, if you haven't watched the interview, please, please, please go and watch it. The guy found out he had cancer in the tongue, stage 3 cancer, and it was within 90 days he managed to heal it. So like, it's amazing what he was sharing. Now, mine wasn't quite as quick as that, ladies and gents. So I actually, through best part of my life, had something called fibroids that would grow inside of the womb. And basically every now and again, it would create a lot of bleeding for me and it just wouldn't stop. Sorry, I know this is a lot of information for the guys, but I like to speak about these things really openly and honestly and rawly so that anybody else listening can obviously go on their healing journey. Now, you know, the first time I ever got diagnosed with them, I think I was about 20, 21, 22 maybe. And I was told very clearly, but this doesn't make sense, Lucy, because you're not black. Helpful information by the doctor. Anyway, they did an operation to remove them, absolutely fine. Anyway, as the years went on, I had maybe 4 situations where this took place. And in 2018, out of nowhere, I'll never forget it, I was in Thailand in June 2018 and I had this magical trip lined up. I had to go to Perth, I had to go to Sydney, I was going to all these different weird and wonderful places around the world. If you've read my book, you'll know this. But I basically, whilst I was in Thailand, my period came and it just never stopped. It just carried on and on and on. So come August, I was like, I have to go home. Like I have to go to the doctors. And yes, I could have gone to the doctor abroad, but you know, I knew what was going on, and I knew that these tumors had grown back. And what was really, really, really interesting was that actually it was a different type of tumor this time around. So I'd had 4 operations previously, all okay, you know, no big deal. But, you know, obviously it had created issues in the form of miscarriages and, you know, bits and pieces like that. So there's many impacts that take place with this stuff. So here I am in August 2018, and I went to the doctor and he was like, there's no point me sending you for a scan, Lisa. I'm just going to send you straight to a specialist. He said, but what I will do is I will just check your bloods and make sure that they're okay. So that was in August 2018. Over the course of the month of August, it didn't stop. If anything, it got worse. They gave me drugs to stop me bleeding and all sorts of stuff, but nothing worked, as it never did. You know, my body is quite resilient to these things. It doesn't like medication particularly. It reacts well to doing different things, which is obviously how I've ended up helping people holistically to be able to create the healing within them, because by remembering the power that they hold within. And so, yeah, basically what happened was, excuse me, there's a little fly that was like right in my face then. St. Francis of Assisi coming in for the healing look. So basically what happened was come the start of September, I was becoming very, very weak. And I remember I was actually staying at my dad's house in Weybridge at the time, and I was walking up. He had 2 different sets of stairs because it was a 3-story building. And I was walking up the first set of stairs, literally just to get to the first floor, and I had to sit down on the steps, and my legs were burning. It was like somebody had a blowtorch on my legs, like literally on the bones, and it was raw. It hurt so much. And I had to sit down, and I was like short of breath. And this wasn't like me, you know, like I'm a runner. I am at this point, I was still training very, very heavy Muay Thai. I was, you know, I was super fit and I was super well, other than the fact that I had this issue going on with the loss of blood. You know, that's all I saw it as, is it was loss of blood. And I remember calling the doctors, and they said, look, don't bother coming here, go straight to A&E. So this was on the Monday. And A&E literally, and I'm not putting anybody down in A&E before you say that I am, or before I'm, you know, bitching about the NHS. That isn't what I'm saying here. But whilst I was in there, they ran some tests on me. My bloods were very, very low, but they just sent me home. That was it. They were like, look, the specialist appointment will come around soon enough. And, you know, that's booked in for October. So just, you know, wait for your specialist and it will all be okay. So I was like, okay, clearly I'm being a hypochondriac. Ladies and gents, you are never, ever, ever being a hypochondriac. If you know you don't feel right, you are not being a hypochondriac. That's the biggest mistake I let these people make me believe, was that I was being a hypochondriac. So of course, because I thought I was being a hypochondriac, I was actually speaking at an event on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. So I went ahead and I did it. Now on the Tuesday night, I was in a hotel, which I used to do quite a lot. I don't know what I say used to. I'm still in hotels all the freaking time. I travel the world constantly, as you guys know. I'm always off wandering. So yeah, I was stayed in a hotel in Windsor on this Tuesday evening, and basically in the middle of the night, I woke up and I went to the bathroom because I could just feel that, you know, there was significant loss taking place. So I went to the bathroom, obviously leaving my mobile phone in the bedroom, and I genuinely thought I was going to die in that bathroom. It was hideous. It was a flow like you can't even imagine. It was like gushing. It was horrible. And, you know, I was panicking. I'll be honest with you guys. I was completely panicking at the thought of, well, not being able to get to my phone, nobody knowing that I'm there, you know, nobody that I was speaking at the conference at knew what was going on with me. Like, you don't talk about these things, do you? Like, us Brits with stiff upper lip and we just crack on and get on with it. But here I was in an absolute pickle. You know, there's no other way of putting it. I was in an absolute pickle. I didn't know what was going on. So basically, the Wednesday, I was stood up speaking and I felt so lightheaded. I was so weak. And then as soon as I started speaking, my voice disappeared and it got really croaky. And although I made it through, like by the end of my talk, I couldn't speak. Now, ladies and gents, you've been following me long enough. What do you think my body was telling me at the fact that my voice was taken? What do you think it was saying? What do you think it was asking me to do? I'll have a little sip of water whilst you guys catch up because there's bound to be a delay. That's absolutely right. I was holding my voice. I wasn't speaking my truth. I wasn't saying to people, look, I'm going through this right now. I'm hurting right now. I'm, you know, going through this situation because, like I just said, we're British. Not just the Brits do this, but it's a very British thing to do, is we have a stiff upper lip. We pretend that things aren't going. If anybody asks us if we're okay, we're like, yeah, fine. Or, oh, really good. You know, we don't ever go, well, actually, do you know what? I'm currently losing a lot of blood right now, and I actually should probably be in hospital. But the hospital told me that I was being a hypochondriac. So I left and I've gone on my merry journey. And, you know, here I am speaking at this seminar in front of all these people, losing my voice because my body is saying, you really need some help right now. And if you don't get some hospitalization, then you're going to be in trouble. So, of course, after I'd done my thing and I'd been the little show pony that I am when I go on stage, I called my doctor and I said, you need to see me urgently. I have lost a significant amount of blood and you need to see me urgently. So they booked me in for the next morning. They sent me straight for blood tests. But what was interesting is the doctor that saw me, she said, Lucy, with your numbers, hey, Eddie, I hope you're well. Lucy, the numbers that you have already had at the start of the week, you needed to have a blood transfusion. So I'm not really sure what's taking place right here. I'm not sure why nothing's been done about this. She said, I'm going to organise an urgent blood transfusion for you. I said, no, I'm going to Sydney on Sunday. There's no way I'm going to have a blood transfusion between now and then. There's no way I'm going. I'm very stubborn, ladies and gents. When I've got a bee in my bonnet about something, I'm going to be honest with you. Well, back then I was. I'm a little bit better now, but I used to be extremely stubborn with, oh, there's a beautiful bird there. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's a little messenger if ever I saw it. So basically, like I was saying, this woman told me that I was going to need a blood transfusion, but I didn't believe her. Like, I'd been to the hospital loads of times over that month and I didn't believe a word of it. So I got a phone call the next day. I'm in the middle of doing a Facebook Live in my Self-Love Club with Lucy Davis group. And I'm like talking about, you know, whatever I'm talking about. And my doctor starts ringing. And I had this moment of, it's Friday night, you're flying to Sydney on Sunday. Ignore the call, deal with it when you get home. And then something just kind of washed over me and it was like, take the frickin' call, Lucy, answer the phone. So I stopped the Facebook Live, answered the phone, and it was one of the partners from the doctor's surgery. And his words to me were, Lucy, please, can you get to A&E as quickly as possible? And I said, well, I'm going to Sydney on Sunday. So like, can I not do this when I get back? And he said, Lucy, you've got a choice here. I'm either going to call you an ambulance and you'll get blue lighted to St. Peter's Hospital, or you can get yourself there as soon as you're ready and you've got a bag packed and everything like that. He said, because if you don't get a multiple blood transfusion immediately, your organs are going to start failing. And honestly, when I say this, I know it's ridiculous, but it's the truth. And I like to speak the truth and be really honest and vulnerable with you guys. In my head, I'm like, this can wait till I get back from Australia. Like, it's only a few weeks I'm going to be gone. This can wait. But I must have verbalized it, because I remember saying to him, can this not wait for 2 weeks or 3 weeks till I get back from Australia? And he said to me something that really struck a chord with me. He said, Lucy, if you get on that plane and take off, as your body tries to equalize, at the moment, you've got less than about 30% oxygen in your body. Your organs will fail and you will die. Okay. That was a bit of a humbling experience to hear. Certainly wasn't something I was anticipating hearing on a Friday night just before I was about to go off and wander to Australia. So I heard what he had to say, but I still wasn't convinced, ladies and gents. You know, like I say, I was really stubborn. Like, you know, I like to dot the I's and cross the T's. I really do. So I went down and I spoke to my dad and I said, Dad, what do you think? I said, the doctor's just told me I need to go for a blood transfusion. I don't want a blood transfusion. No way. Like, you know, I've never had to have a blood transfusion before. Like, what's this all about? And he said to me, and I gave him all the numbers that the doctor gave me. I can't remember now, but I think it was like 32% or something like that. And he gave me the numbers that related to. And I said to my dad, my dad said to me, the best advice a father could ever give a child, right, is don't tell people what to do, but just ask really good questions. And I truly believe that because of my dad, I'm so good at coaching people, because I just ask really good questions. I'm a master question asker, and that's how I get the results I get. I truly, truly believe it. And he said to me, Lucy, do me a favor. Go on to Dr. Google and ask Google how much hemoglobin you need in your body to be able to take off and land successfully on a plane. Sensible man. So that's what I did. I went on Google and I had a little look, and I was about half of what they said I needed to be able to take off and land successfully. So I had a little bit of food quickly, because I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in a hospital all night. So I had a little bit of food, and I took myself off to the hospital. And when I arrived, they were expecting me. I literally said my name and a call went out immediately. Boom, there was a bed there. Literally, they were all on me as soon as I was in the reception area. They had me linked up to monitors. They had every kind of thing going on my body that you could possibly imagine. And I was like, how on earth have I ended up here? I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gents. I was like, I've got connected to my purpose. Remember, this was in 2018. I started waking up properly in 2013 when my granddad passed. So this is 2018. This is 5 years down the line from when I started my journey, and I've been doing the healing work, and I've been recognizing my traumas, and I've been recognizing the anger and the hurt and the shame and the guilt and the resentment and everything that I've had inside of me building up. So I'm laid there like, you have really fucked up, woman. Like, how have you ended up in here when you've released all the trauma? You've done all the work. So why are you here right now? Oh my God, was it a challenge? You know, I'd changed my diet. I'd done the exercise. I'd lost, I was back at about 59 kilos. So I'd lost about, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 kilos since my awakening journey. Like, I'd literally changed my whole life. I'd apologized to people that needed to be apologized to. I had let people know, like, I'd even had the conversation with my dad about, the trauma that I had bubbling away from the age of 8 in regards to something that he said to me. It was just a comment that he said to me, but my God, did it create trauma? My goodness, did it take me down a path where I was like, I'm an independent woman and all that stuff, you know, not knowing, not consciously doing it, but it was when I went deep and when I looked inwards and when I really, really, really turned that camera on me that I recognized that actually I was creating this for myself. And this is why I really wanted to speak about this subject this evening, ladies and gents. You know, I've spoken to many people today and they are emotional. They are not making any sense of certain things. You know, I've heard people have exes reaching out. You know, all of this stuff. Ladies and gents, the reason this is happening right now is because it's time for us once and for all to heal our traumas. We actually need to be looking at the loops that we've got ourselves involved in and the things that we're pretending are okay when they're not. The excuses that we're making about our lives. Like, I had convinced myself that I was happy on my own. Like, genuinely, I don't need no man to survive. I'm an independent woman, don't you know? Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. I am Little Miss Love. Like, any of you that have met me in the last 10 years, you'll know that I am Little Miss Love. Everything that I do is about love. Everything that I want to bring to the planet is about love. It's about being authentic. It's about being, the vibration that actually aligns to us, rather than this, I've got a wall around me because I'm going to protect myself. I'm a commitment phobe, or this hurt, or I've got to look after this, or I've got to do that. And that doesn't wash with me. It doesn't wash with me. Now, trust me, I was that person. I don't know if Lee's still on, but he will vouch for that. I was a freaking nightmare when I was younger. Like, I was a freaking nightmare when I was younger. I won't go into too many details, but I was, read my book if you want to know. Although it's not all in there, I want to be honest. But it's the truth. I didn't need a man to survive. I earned so much money. I didn't need a man's money. Like, all men are bastards, all men cheat. Like, that was the nonsense I had going on in my head. And that's not true. Relationships equal hurt and pain. That's not true, ladies and gents. All the relationships that we have had, even my most recent relationship and the absolute sheer hell that I had to go through, and I want to be honest with you guys, it was absolute hell what I had to go through. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. Because I've come out the other side and I love more than I've ever loved before. Because if you can give love to the wrong person like you did, imagine what you're capable of giving to the right person, and when it's reciprocal. Now, sometimes we need to go through experience where it's not reciprocal so that we can actually say, hey, hang on a minute, I deserve better than this. Ladies and gents, we're clinging on to our victimhood and our trauma and our excuses so tightly, we are missing the memo of happiness, of living in a true, valuable, authentic view. We're so concerned with dodging the bullets and, having somebody on our arm that looks amazing rather than that feels right. And we have to go through these experiences. I had to hurt people back in the day, and my God, did I hurt people. My God, did I hurt people. Whilst I was in the UK, I actually had this thing. I'm calling it a thing, that's really rude. I had a man present himself and say to me, Lucy, you really hurt me back then. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really sorry that I did that. I'm really sorry that I did that. And actually, it's been such an amazing experience to be able to sit down with people. Now, I've done this with many people over the years since I started waking up and realizing what I did when I was younger. But remember, ladies and gents, when we're younger, we were doing the best that we could. Our parents were doing the best they could. My dad was doing the best he could, believe it or not, when he verbal diarrheaed all over me when I was 8 years of age about some stuff that was going on in his life, which made me create a big story about it. Now, I'm open and honest and vulnerable about this stuff. And a lot of you will be sat there going, poof, no, that didn't happen to me. Bullshit. How many of you have been told, oh, if you'd studied harder, you would have got better results? Or maybe you really had to put yourself out there to be seen or to be heard. Maybe you had to be perfect. Maybe you had to look pretty, or maybe you had to be quiet. Maybe you had to go and do things that you didn't want to do. and this isn't even getting anywhere near the fact that you were abused or that you were smacked or any of that stuff. Like I'm talking about literal flippant comments that many of us have had throughout the whole of our life, but we pretend that we didn't. And we certainly don't call them trauma, because core trauma is only like really abusive things, right? No. Trauma is you recognizing that you have created a story based on something that took place. Now, my dad basically told me that he cheated on my mum. That's what he basically told me at 8. Did I know what he was talking about? No. It wasn't a conscious, all men are bastards, because my dad's, no. He alluded to this. And then as I got older, I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Hence the story came, hence the trauma came, hence all of the situation that I went through. Now, I'm sharing this as openly and vulnerably with you as this. Not so somebody can use it against me, because it's all in my book. Nobody could ever use any of it against me. I'm very, very open with all of this, and I've had the conversations with absolutely everybody. And by the way, it's only a narcissist that would use it against you. But so that you start to recognize that you have this inbuilt inside of you too. All of us wanted more attention from our parents. We did. We might have the most incredible relationships with them now, but back then when we were younger, if you didn't have somebody who held you when you were crying, maybe they said, oh, come on, no tears. Oh, I need to shut my emotions down. If I want this person to love me, I need to be tough. I need to shut my emotions down. To the men out there, oh, come on, man up. This mentality, this behavior, this is what has created these trauma situations. So I was laid in this hospital bed, and I didn't realize how poorly I was, ladies and gents. I'll be honest with you. I was actually, and I had been for about a month, I'd been doubling up my Juice Plus capsules, which I take. You guys know that I take those. I'd been doubling them up, and they'd been keeping me going. Like if I hadn't been taking those, I guarantee I probably would have ended up in hospital a lot sooner and probably in a lot worse of a state. So the whole time I was in there, I was just necking these capsules, and they said to me, oh, okay, so we're going to have to give you a blood transfusion. You've lost so much blood, you're down to 28 or 26% oxygen in your body. Your organs are going to start shutting down. They're very flippant about it. They said, we've got your blood out of the freezer, the storage, whatever they called it. And they said it's going to take a good few hours for it to be chilled to the temperature whereby it can go into your body. Now, at no point did anybody say to me, a blood transfusion can kill you. At no point. Nobody ever said that to me. They literally just said, this is the process that's going to go through. So I get put in a private room in a NHS hospital. So that's like a public hospital to those of you outside of the UK. So I'm in an NHS hospital. I'm not private at this point because literally I've been sent there that day. And they put me in a private room, and I was like, oh, this is quite handy. I've got my own room and I've got my own space. I don't need to listen to snoring or, sleep talking or any of that stuff. And it was very pertinent that they did that. So at about midnight, 11 midnight, something like that, bearing in mind I went in at 7, ladies and gents, at about 11 or midnight, they started administering the first blood. Now, there's 2 different sides to the story that takes place from this moment forwards, ladies and gents. And you may have read this in the magazine that I was interviewed for. You may have read this in my book. But there was 2 basically separate stories that took place whilst I was going through this journey. In my world, the world of Lucy Davis, I've got my eyes shut. Every now and again, I'll look at the blood to energize it as the blood's going into me. But then I would close my eyes, I'd open my eyes, I'd watch the blood, I'd energize the blood, I'd go back off, I'd meditate. This blood is pure. Thank you so much for giving. Like literally, I was like doing a mantra for the whole 5 hours that it was going in my body. From my perspective, I had 2 archangels and my granddad turn up at my bed, and I just thought I was meditating, and I'd called these people in, and I was just like, listen, I'm so thankful I figured out my purpose. I'm so grateful I figured out my passions. I'm going to get to the root cause of this, and I'm going to show the world that they can heal. Thank you so much for giving me these tumors, so now I can go out and show the women of the world how they can now heal it. This is literally what I'm talking about whilst I'm having this blood. And that's truly what I believe, ladies and gents. On the other side of the coin, And I only found this out as I was being discharged from the hospital. So I will go back and I'll fill in the bits. But as I was being discharged from the hospital, one of the nurses came up to me and she was like, "You're going home so soon?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you so much for looking after me. I am so grateful to you." She threw her arms around me and she was like, "We thought we'd lost you on Friday night. To see you up and to see you walking is soul food. Like, we literally thought we had lost you." I had no clue. Literally, I had absolutely no clue. I had absolutely no idea that they had been panicking about me whilst the blood had been going in, because in my world, I was watching, I was energizing, I was having an amazing conversation with these two archangels and my granddad, and I was saying to them, "I'm not done here. Like, I'm good. I'm not done here. I know my purpose. I know my place on this earth. I know that I'm going to show everyone around the world what is possible, and I committed. I am going to remind them how to heal. I am going to remind them." So to hear that conversation from the nurse's mouth, when I finally sweet talked a doctor into discharging me, literally, I was on their case from the minute, literally, as soon as the first bag had gone in, I was like, "Can I go home now?" And they were like, "No, you've got 2 more bags to go at least." I was like, "Come on, let me go. I'm good. I feel better now." And I was walking around the ward, because the ward closest to me was the gynecology ward. And there was a lot of women that had hysterectomies and things like that. And I was walking around with my second bag of blood going, "Hi, what are you in here for?" "Oh, right. They're trying to give me a hysterectomy. They're saying that I need one. I'm going to show them." Like, literally, I was stood at their beds whilst they have literally just had the operation. I must have been off my head in one way, shape or form, because I literally had no concern for the fact that they were there. I was just like, "I promise you, I'm going to show you how to heal. Hey, Aonisi babes, I hope you're well. Long time no speak, sweetheart." So yeah, I was literally like walking around and I was offering help, and I'm like, "Here, does anybody need anything? Does anybody need any water?" And the doctors are going, "Lucy, lay down, for God's sake." But I felt amazing. I felt absolutely amazing. And like I say, I was chirping on at these doctors. I had a really young male doctor come in, and he was like, "So Lucy, I hear you want to go home." And I was like, "Please let me go, please let me go." And he was like, "You need to be scanned, you need to have more blood tests, and I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel so good and I've got a plane to catch tomorrow. I've got to go to Sydney." And he was just rolling his head. He was like this, "Oh my God, this one is a handful." But I felt good. I felt good. Like, I had literally been surviving on like 30% oxygen for the previous week. Like, I felt great. I had all this energized, oxygenated blood within me, and I was like, "Woohoo, let's go out." But that night, when I was with Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and my beautiful, beautiful granddad, who is the whole reason that I am in the place where I am these days. Like, he's the reason I wrote that first book. He is my inspiration for life itself. He is a remarkable, remarkable soul that I am so grateful that I got to call my granddad. He woke me up while he was in the last 12 weeks of his life, literally on his deathbed. He was like, "Babe, you need to go and do more. Like, you need to go and shine the light." And I thought he was losing the plot, but actually he was guiding me to find a path which was so resonant for me. I was in a job that I didn't like. I was in a relationship that was destroying me from the inside out. I wasn't loving myself. I was drinking too much. I was taking way too many drugs. I was doing all of this stuff that just wasn't in resonance with me. And a lot of people are still caught up on me being the same old Lucy, and she just doesn't exist. She just doesn't exist anymore, but that is what it is. So that night, when I was with Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel and my granddad, I made a commitment, and I do this quite a lot. I've made a few covenants with Gaia, and I've made a few covenants with things, and I end up doing myself a bit of mischief with this. But this evening, I promised that I was going to heal. I promised that I would remind the world what they are capable of doing. Like, literally, I was having a conversation and I was like, "Okay, give me the messages that you want me to take back. Like, all you need to do is give me the messages so clearly, and I will never forget. You give me the signs, you give me the synchronicities, and I will follow those. I promise you, I will absolutely guide myself, and I will guide whoever else needs to hear these messages." And I made it my mission that evening, the 7th of September, 2018, I literally laid there and I made a promise to myself and anybody else that was willing to listen to me. And ladies and gents, I haven't stopped. I have not stopped ever since. I will share whatever I possibly can. I have been given some incredible gifts as to how to help other people heal because I've done the work. But the first step for all of this is you have to be honest with yourself. You have to recognize the excuses that you're putting out there. You have to recognize where your commitment issues come from, or where your promiscuous behavior comes from, or where your, sensitivity comes from, or where, all of this stuff comes from. Like, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to go deep on this process. Because if you're not willing to do that, then you are not willing to be able to have the life that you definitely choose, or you definitely deserve, more to the point. Now, a lot of people are scared of this, believe it or not. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, you know what, Lucy, I want it. I really want to heal. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then as soon as they have to look at their traumas, like, no, it's too painful. I can't do it. You can't have one without the other. Like, your traumas are what has been holding you back. That's what makes you procrastinate. That's what makes you make stupid decisions. And we just need to be recognizing that without judgment. Hey, Tracy, without judgment of ourselves, because we've all been there. We've all done it. Like I say, I share so openly. A narcissist would have an absolute field day with the amount of information that I give out about myself. But this is why, you just have to keep your wits about you. I share so much vulnerability. Why? Because I want to help other people. I'm sticking to that commitment that I made. And there are so many people out there that just don't realize what is possible for them. They don't realize that if they're honest with themselves, they can actually heal. They don't realize that self-love is the answer to all of this. As soon as we take our power back and we say, I love me, and I am going to trust me and my inner dial, even if it pisses off everybody else around me. Trust me, the universe goes, here, let's give you some gold. If you're trying, then you're not doing, just so you know, Nikki. Trying, you either do or you do not. Trying is not something that actually means that it's working. You're probably listening a lot, but you're probably not putting the effort in to actually do the do. Like, I'm not going to say that I know the ins and outs about you, sweetheart, so apologies if I say something out of turn here. But for me, I had done a lot of work because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of attracting shitty relationships. I was tired of not having boundaries in place and all of this stuff. And that last little hiccup that I had around the healing was I still had a little ounce of anger. And I mean a tiny little ounce of anger towards my dad because of what he said to me when I was 8 years old. And when I recognized that laying on my deathbed, that's how serious it got. When I was there in that moment, I knew that I had to forgive with all of my heart, and I had to let go of everything. And this is the point. People since then have completely fucked me over. Excuse my language. They really have. Trust me, they really have. But do you know what? I forgive them completely, because I am not going to drink the poison and then get away with it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to forgive so that I shine, so that I never need to create this in my physical vessel again. But I will never forget. I will never forget the things that you did to me. I will never, ever, ever forget, because I need to keep my wits about me and recognize the signs. The red flags are always there, ladies and gents, whether it's a relationship, a career, whatever, the red flags are always there. And I'm going to do a video on red flags, because I've just been getting a massive memo about speaking about relationship red flags recently. So I'm going to be doing a video like that at some point. I'd like to do it with a man, so that we can have a balanced opinion, rather than she's a woman, scorned that one, because I'm really not. But I think it's very, very, very important that we actually have and do have a conscious conversation about red flags. And this could be career, like I said, it can be health, it could be all sorts of different things. You're welcome, Nikki, but just remember, whatever you do, go all in. There are so many people out there half-arsing life, and you have to go all in your healing. Anybody that thinks that they don't have trauma, I'm here to tell you, you're a freaking liar. Sorry for the trigger word, but it's true. You're a Billy bullshitter. Every single person. I love that. Everybody's got really, really, really excited about me and George. No, George and I are just really close. We're really good friends. I love that. That's so cute. No, George and I are really good friends. We have such an amazing relationship. Fingers crossed, I'm going to be going over to see him next month and do some work with him. But yeah, bless his heart. I'm going to let him know that you guys are like, come on, what about you and George? So I've shared my whole life to help others, which helps me exactly, Teresa. That's the whole point of this. I know I have a deep spot of unworthiness inside. It's really trying to be seen so it can be healed. Not sure how to heal this. So the first and foremost is, why are you looking for other people to give you your worth? You need to recognize the worth within yourself and then allow that to shine. And Mary Alice, this is what I did. I basically used to sabotage big time, because although I knew that I had a purpose and a passion and a real mission to bring to this earth, I didn't kind of believe it. I wanted to see it in other people. All right. I wanted somebody else to say to me, oh, babe, you're beautiful. I wanted to hear those words, when in reality, it had to come from myself. So Mary Alice, just look at what you are expecting from other people, because chances are you've got unfair expectations and you can give it all to yourself, my sweetheart. Go and do some journaling on that and it will really help you. Thank you for your vulnerability. I really respect your beautiful intentions and your energy in the world. Thank you for your good work. Trish, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate your support and your love. This is my dedication to humanity this lifetime, and it has sacrificed a lot of things. And I'm not saying that to be a martyr, like it has. I allowed it to, but no more. You know, I'm here doing what I always got told I had to do, and I am so freaking glad that I am. Hey, Lucy, oh my goodness, listening to you on the way home, on my commute, and my eyes were watering. Always makes me emotional hearing your story. Joe, thank you so much. I'm here and I live to tell the tale, everybody. Like, that's the beautiful thing about it. We have to recognize, establishing that we've been traumatized, establishing that okay, I've had to accept in my life something that I never thought that I would have to do. And that was that I have actually been in an abusive relationship in my past. You know, and to actually accept that and admit that is hideous. Something that I never thought I would have to do, and I have had to do that. That's trauma, ladies and gents. If you've had somebody gaslight you or behave like a narcissist, or your mum has pushed and pulled you, or maybe you were abandoned, trust me, you have trauma. You might pretend that you've dealt with it, ladies and gents, but I don't believe that we've ever fully dealt with it. I believe that we learn to live with it and we accept it. We have consciousness of it, and we know how our pesky ego leads us astray in relation to it. And that's how we can bring ourselves back into whole. There are times, trust me, ladies and gents, where I've wanted to stamp my feet and scream from the rooftops. And then I've gone, no, that's your ego. That's your little girl within you, Lucy. That's your little Lucy that just feels so lost, and she needs to be heard, and she wants to feel loved, and she wants her dad's arms wrapped around her. But you know what? I can do that for myself, because I am Lucy Davis and I am love. I am literal love in a vessel. So why can't I give that to myself? Why am I looking at it from Lizzie or from Pina or from Teresa? Why do I need it from them? Why can't I just say, Lucy Davis, you are an amazing, beautiful, powerful woman. Rise up and let's go again. And ladies and gents, so many of you have messaged me saying, obviously, the trauma that happened at the end of the relationship, my last relationship, you know, I had a miscarriage. It was the second miscarriage that I had in very close succession. And I had to go and I had to deal with that on my own. Like, that's trauma, ladies and gents. It's trauma. It's physical trauma because of the loss of the baby. It's emotional trauma. It's mental trauma, and it's spiritual trauma. But you know what? I went off and I did the work. I sat in it. I felt it. I let myself cry. I went invisible, as a lot of you will remember. And then I came back, and look at me now. I'm so grateful for that experience, because you know what? In the space of 6 months, a 44-year-old woman found out she could conceive twice. How many of you would have put a 44-year-old as past it? I was told, you know, that my eggs are that of a 38-year-old. Brilliant. I now have knowledge that I never thought that I could have. Like, you know, I'm loving this journey that I'm on. So I love me and I love my physical vessel more than I ever have done, because my God, she literally went through hell not that long ago, and look at her now. You don't grow in the light, ladies and gents. You grow in the darkness. Believe it or not, we actually grow in those moments of darkness when we start to step out of them, and when we start to recognize them and have the consciousness and awareness on them. We actually start to elevate, and that's how we go to the light, and then the light really, really helps us grow. My mum and aunts had children in late 40s and early 50s. There you go. See, times are changing, ladies and gents. Times are changing. We know how to use herbs. We know how to use things now to keep the fertility online. It's fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. Nikki, thank you for saying that, because I feel like I'm glowing. Literally, I don't know. I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. Opportunities are presenting themselves everywhere. Like, honestly, ladies and gents, did you see that then? That was a little heart that popped up here in the blue from here. That was really bizarre. I love it. I'm going to have to go back and take a photo of that. I think I'm at about 55 minutes. Okay, cool. I'll go back and do that. Literally, ladies and gents, you know, what happens is you get tested, you get given these situations, and you have to look within. And then when you look within, you've got to be a little bit patient. And all of a sudden, the gold literally flutters. The universe says, this one has done really well. She's held her own. She's held boundaries. She's, you know, done this. She's done that, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Now it's time to reward her, because she hasn't behaved like she used to behave. She hasn't got angry. She hasn't, you know, behaved in the way that other people would have behaved, you know. And then what happens is the universe says, here you go. Have it all. Have it all. Have it all at once. And literally in the last 7 days, maybe 10 days, ladies and gents, I've been bowled over by opportunities on about 10 occasions. The amount of speaking gigs that I've got an amazing, I can't share it yet. I'll be able to share it in the next couple of weeks. I've got something really exciting that's bubbling under the scenes. You know, I've got all of these people that are coming to me saying, Lucy, this. All of these opportunities are presenting. And you know why, ladies and gents? Because I danced with the devil. I went to the deepest darks of my soul for once again another dark night of the soul, even though it didn't feel like the original dark night of the soul. It was, you know, it was very, very different to that. But I faced it. I didn't run from it. I didn't get drunk through it. I didn't try and suppress it or pretend it wasn't happening. I would say, I need to take some time right now, and I will be back when I can speak the truth. And as soon as I could speak the truth, I was vulnerable with you. This is what's been going on with me. And then I would take some more time off, if you remember, ladies and gents. You know, because that's what I've had to do. I'm never going to hide away. I'm never going to hide away. My way of speaking about this is going to be my way of doing it. I don't need to be, you know, bombarding and, you know, the pity party. I don't need it. I've done that behind closed doors. So I'm not saying don't have the pity party, ladies and gents, or not be in victim mode. Trust me, I was in victim mode for a bit after the pregnancy, because I've got attached to that little bean. I'd seen it on scans 3 times. You know, I had got attached to that. So for me, like, I went into victim mode. I wanted to be angry. I was angry. We're not here to pretend that our emotions don't exist. We're here to feel them. We're here to look within, right? Why have I called this experience in? Why have I used an excuse? Why did I want to go through this? Because on some level, believe it or not, ladies and gents, that's what we did. We called it in. Sending you big hugs too, my sweetheart. Thank you so much. You know, 3 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to sit here and have this conversation, ladies and gents. 3 months ago, I would have been blubbing my eyes out. And you know what? That's really cool. It's really okay to do that. Oh, congratulations, Rachel. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. I've got lots of herbs and things like that. But you need to have sex for a baby, right? Oh, let them talk. Let them talk. That's all I'm going to say at this time. Right, ladies and gents, on that notice of sex, we don't want to be going there because once I start on sex and orgasms, you know, I'll be here all night talking about it. So, guys, I love you to the moon and stars. Thank you so much for joining this evening. I know I didn't put any notifications out anywhere. So thank you for being here. I love you guys. Look after yourself. Rachel, I'm going to pop you and that little bean in a bubble of protection. And darling, just keep me posted on how you're going with that. I'm so excited for you all. Maybe we will do a talk on sex soon. I've been doing some really cool videos, ladies and gents, so do keep your eyes open. They will be coming out shortly. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Speak to you soon. See all of you on Conscious Conversations at 7 p.m. Lots of love, guys.